All right, good morning, and welcome to the Blacksmith Podcast Discord Live. Happy Saturday. Yes, if you notice, I am wearing a hat today. I love it. Oh, Jesus. That's my wife talking about yeehaw. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. Not doing it. All right, so uh look, folks, if you are joining us for the first time, welcome to the Blacksmith Podcast. Over here, we forge guys into men. And on Saturdays exclusively, we talk about financial topics. Now, to get right into it, the hottest thing moving right now is the earnings calls for companies because it is that time of year. Yes, yes, yes. They are reporting their earnings for quarter one of 25. And so the first one we are going to get into was suggested by one of the Discord family members, and it is Palantir. So without further ado, we're going to go into Palantir, and hopefully they answered the top three questions that was on their board, like Robin Hood. Let me go to it real quick, and we'll actually just pull up and see if they did top three questions, because I don't know. Maybe that's exclusively a Robin Hood thing. But Palantir, no, I don't think so, because it goes straight into, yeah, it goes straight into this. All right. Well, let's start playing it. Let's see what we find.
Good afternoon. I'm Anna Saro from Palantir's finance team, and I'd like to welcome you to our first quarter 2025 earnings call. We'll be discussing the results announced in our press release issued after the market closed and posted on our investor relations website. During the call, we will make statements regarding our business that may be considered forward-looking within applicable securities laws, including statements regarding our second quarter and fiscal 2025 results, management's expectations for our future financial and operational performance, and other statements regarding our plans, prospects, and expectations. These statements are not promises or guarantees and are subject to risks and uncertainties, which could cause them to differ materially from actual results. Information concerning those risks is available in our earnings press release distributed after the market closed today and in our SEC filings. We undertake no obligation to update forward-looking statements except as required by law. Further, during the course of today's call, we will refer to certain adjusted financial measures. These non-GAAP financial measures should be considered in addition to, not as a substitute for or in isolation from, GAAP measures. Additional information about these non-GAAP measures, including reconciliation of non-GAAP to comparable GAAP measures, is included in our press release and investor presentation provided today. Our press release, investor presentation, and other earnings materials are available on our investor relations website at investors.palantir.com. Over the course of the call, we will refer to various growth rates when discussing our business. These rates reflect year-over-year comparisons unless otherwise stated. Joining me on today's call are Alex Karp, Chief Executive Officer, Shyam Sankar, Chief Technology Officer, Dave Glazer, Chief Financial Officer, and Ryan Taylor, Chief Revenue Officer and Chief Legal Officer. I'll now turn it over to Ryan to start the call.
All right, real quick. So if you are interested in investing in any company, you better know who at least the CEO is. And given whatever kind of company it is, it may have something different, like chief accounts officer, chief technology officer. She just said they have one, right? Because it's a tech company. So know who the big players are, and always know two people, right? Know two people if you don't know anyone else. The CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. These people have background in finance, and they're making the money moves with the company, and they're usually there for the earnings call. Well, I won't say always, but they're usually there for the earnings call. They're the ones usually spearheading it. But let me turn this back on.
Our first quarter of the year showcased incredible strength and remarkable momentum as revenue grew 39% year over year. Our story continues to be one of preeminence in the US. Our US revenue grew 55% year over year and now makes up 71% of our overall business. Our US commercial business's extraordinary momentum continued as revenue grew 71% year over year. Our foundational U.S. government business achieved compelling revenue growth of 45% year over year. Our results continue to redefine the Rule of 40, with our Rule of 40 score increasing from 81 in Q4 to 83 last quarter. While organizations may consider curtailing spending to drive efficiencies or weather heightened volatility, they find this is the moment they need Palantir the most, the time they turn to us asking, how can we help them adapt and solve their latest challenges? As AI models progress and improve, we continue enabling our customers to maximally leverage these models in production, capitalizing upon the rich context within the enterprise through the ontology. We remain differentiated in our elite execution to deliver quantified exceptionalism for our customers, ever widening their advantage over the AI have-nots. As a result, unrelenting demand for AIP continues to drive outperformance, despite Q1 historically being our slowest quarter due to business seasonality. Our US commercial revenue grew 19% sequentially to surpass the $1 billion annual run rate for revenue in Q1.
At Spectrum, we know life moves fast. Keep up
All right,
with
come
the
on,
speed,
man.
reliability, and security.
Sorry
of
about that.
Spectrum.
It's on YouTube.
We
So
closed $810 million in US commercial TCV with a 239% year-over-year growth rate on dollar-weighted duration basis. And we closed twice as many deals of $1 million or more compared to the same time period a year ago. I feel the demand in the conversations I'm having with customers. On the ground, things are accelerating. Customers are getting started, then expanding in quick succession. A large healthcare company did a boot camp with us in December, and 5 weeks later converted to a 5-year, $26 million ACV enterprise agreement.
So that deal probably isn't public yet. That is probably why he didn't say the healthcare's company's name. However, he did announce it, so you know we are making big moves. So this is called strategy, folks. So he didn't announce the healthcare company because they're not ready yet, but he's letting you know we're even doing deals with healthcare companies. He wants people to invest in Palantir. Around the time they were making this call, Palantir actually shot up like $14, and then it came back down. So there are some people, some traders who do like trading short-term options around the time of earnings calls. I'm not there yet, folks. I'm not there yet. When this becomes my 24/7 versus just a thing that I do on the side until it can replace my 9 to 5, we might actually do some of those. But let's get back into it.
A global bank started a pilot with us in Q4 2024, signed a $2 million engagement a month later, then expanded to a 3-year, $19 million ACV engagement 4 months after that.
Do y'all hear this? All right, I'm gonna let this play. This is gonna be like a blanket thing. Pay attention, take notes. If you want to be an investor in Palantir or it wasn't even on your radar, Palantir is a tech company and they do a lot of work with the Department of Defense. They have a lot of contracts there, but he's telling you healthcare companies and banks are also doing deals with them. So if you want to, what you should be weaving together is like they're doing like Robin Hood. They are not just single faceted. That's what you should be taking from this. Because if they drop the DoD contracts, well, they might still be held up by the business with healthcare and the business they have with banks, right? So if one of them are teetering, right, they have two more to hold themselves up. It's almost like you're investing in one company that has created an ETF inside its ecosystem, if that makes sense. Because ETFs, electronic transfer funds, they're just one stock that has a bunch of companies in it, and it'll tell you how many companies and how many different sectors it has in it, right? And so this company, like Robinhood, is basically trying to make itself an ETF by investing in different sectors within its company, if that makes any sense at all. But let's get back into it.
A Fortune 500 healthcare company began working with us in Q2 2024 and last quarter signed a 5-year, $10 million ACV conversion deal. The pace and magnitude of these deals are being driven by the quantified exceptionalism our customers see from day one working with us. We continue to hear from customers that our software's impact is remarkably apparent. A Walgreens executive recently highlighted Foundry and AIP allowed them to deploy AI-powered end-to-end workflows in 4,000 stores within 8 months, automating what would have amounted to 384 billion decisions every day if relying on humans. AIG recently highlighted.
Hold on. So y'all heard that, right? That's not the first time he mentioned AI. He mentioned AI about 3 or 4 times now. So you know this company is also heavily invested in AI. And why does this make any kind of sense? And why does this matter? This matters because you have a lot of people who are still not waking up to the way in which the world is moving, the trajectory of the world, right? So what do I mean? A lot of companies, a lot of businesses, the world in general, moving to automation. If you go in your local grocery stores, and I don't care, there's Walmarts everywhere. The Walton family has done a magnificent job of expanding their territory. They're that blue gang, not Crips. Okay, gang is probably the wrong reference, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? Walmart gang, right? The people of Walmart. But go in there, you'll see self-checkout. Go in Target, you'll see self-checkout. If Kmart still exists anywhere in the world, you'll see self-checkout. Aldi's, self-checkout. Go into, I don't know, Ralph's, Vons, and go whatever, Kroger. Let's go to the East Coast. Kroger, what's that other one? Publix, self-checkouts. Okay, automated things, right? That is replacing the most expensive part of any company, the employee. We talked about this, right? So not only are you paying the employee salary or hourly wage, you have a 15.3% payroll tax on that salary as well. Then you have the benefits package you're paying for that employee. Then you also have unemployment if they are let go, not fired for cause, but let go. And if they get injured, that's all 5. If they get injured, now you have workers' comp, all of which is paid by the company, right? So you have to have these insurances put aside. So he just talked about how much money they would have paid if there were human employees. So guess what? The world is making a paradigm shift. And this is why this stuff matters, guys. Pay attention, because if you're not paying attention, you're going to be replaced. And you have some doomsdayists out there that say, oh, AI is going to replace all human beings. Yes and no. They're replacing human beings in certain aspects of their companies or wherever they can because it saves them time and money and efficiency. However, that's why you got to be paying attention, because if you're just the average guy, like a lot of us, right? Most people are average. That's fine. The average dude's 5'9", probably 190 something pounds. Hey, listen, most of us are average. But think about it like this. You have to constantly think 3 to 5 steps ahead so you don't get replaced. And that's your job. That's your job. That's not somebody else's job. Because if you've got if you're the head of your household or your future household, well, then you've got to always be thinking ahead. But you got to also pay attention. Let's keep going.
That they expect the end-to-end adoption of tech advancements leveraging Palantir will double their 5-year CAGR. They noted, quote, "It's an unbelievable outcome in terms of what we get. You could give underwriters unlimited time, 2, 3, 4 weeks. They still can't get the amount of data that I can get within 2 to 3 hours through Palantir."
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? It's crazy.
We are partnering with R1 RCM to develop intelligent automation solutions to create faster, more precise healthcare reimbursement outcomes. Their executive noted, quote, "We believe there's a multi-$100 billion opportunity here industry-wide to put money back into the pockets of providers and physicians so they can better invest in patient outcomes." Our name is popping up across earnings calls around the world as companies like Citibank, BP, and L3Harris tout the ambition of their work with Palantir.
Let's get it. Y'all heard that? BP. British Petroleum. Let's get it. Wake it up.
Investors. Our U.S. government business continues to achieve impressive growth as we deliver towards the vital missions of the agencies we support. As the government focuses on efficiency, our commercially fielded, battle-hardened products stand alone. Last quarter, we closed deals expanding our work in the Department of Defense, including the critical impact we are delivering with Maven Smart System across the COCOMs and the services. The impact is far-reaching. Internationally, we closed a deal to provide Palantir Maven Smart System to NATO to deploy our AI Mission Command solution across its 32 member states. Historically, in periods of turmoil, organizations, both public and private, have turned to Palantir. With the proliferation of AI, you see an even wider gap between the winners and losers. The winners won't be determined by size, but by adaptability. Many organizations are having to reimagine how their business does and should work in the future, simply to survive. We are built to help companies embrace volatility. We expect more surprises, not less. And with the uncertainty ahead, we are more confident than ever in Palantir's ability to deliver tangible impact for our customers, to transform organizations with real workflows in production, and to help institutions adapt to survive. I'll now turn it over to Sean.
Thanks, Ryan. We've been consistently
All right, real quick. I'll back it up 5 seconds. Listen, if you look at BP over the last 5 years, they've done good, 31%. See, I don't invest in the petroleum industry. I don't invest in usually. I don't really have a lot of investments in energy as a whole. I did start investing out with some of these companies in the energy sector, petroleum companies. I had Marathon Oil. I had, I think, Exxon Mobil, but that was during COVID when all their numbers were down because no one was driving. And they went back up as things started opening back up. But if you look, BP lost 22% on their stock in the last year. Now, what tech company had that kind of loss? What big tech company, and this is why I say, know what sector is really moving the market. In the last 5 years, it hasn't been energy, it has been tech. If you had BP, now if you were in an ETF, you might have been fine where this was in there, but I wouldn't want to invest in a company that when other companies are getting 100, 200 stupid percentages that you probably won't ever see again, you're having a minus 20? Nah, not this guy. Not this guy. I think they pay a dividend too. Look, boom. They pay a dividend. So, I mean, overall, if you look at the 5-year growth, 31%, that's good, but I'm not in it for good. I need great. I need for excellent. I need phenomenal, right? Growth in my stock portfolio. So, nah, I can't rock with BP. But listen, that guy just dropped some bangers, right? If you weren't taking notes, go back and watch Palantir's earnings call. He just told you a lot about the trajectory of the company. And then I don't know, they're not announcing who they are. I think the first guy was the CEO. Maybe this is the CFO or the CTO. I don't know. I don't know who's speaking. Unlike Robinhood and like Berkshire Hathaway, Robinhood had the CEO Vlad Tenev and Jason somebody, I can't remember his name, the CFO. And then Berkshire Hathaway had Warren Buffett. He's also the chairman. They had him sitting up front. So I don't know who's talking, but the info is priceless.
saying that even while the LLMs are improving, the models across both closed and open source, they're becoming more similar, and that performance will converge, all while cost per token for inference continues to drop substantially. The market has been focused on AI supply, the models, while we have been focused on delivering on AI demand. It's now blindingly obvious to everyone after the first DeepSeek moment. Our foundational investments in ontology and infrastructure have positioned us to uniquely deliver on AI demand now and into the world ahead. AIP has entered the next phase of product development and adoption focused on enterprise autonomy. As I mentioned last call, the normative value of AI is the self-driving company. We're not talking about co-pilots that make you 50% more productive. We're talking about agents that make you 50 times more productive. AIP is increasingly owning the position of being the technology that translate the ever-expanding raw capability of LLMs into business outcomes through ontology.
All right, so real quick, he talked about DeepSeek, right? And if you guys weren't, somebody's mic's not muted. He talked about DeepSeek, and DeepSeek, if you're not familiar, I believe it was last year it hit maybe around Christmas, and I can't remember how many months ago. It made the stock market, well, tech companies in particular, plummet because the country red, they came out with AI, and it was, called DeepSeek. And from what I know, I don't really know how much you can do with it, if it's better or not than Chat GPT, but people started using it. And because it was made by the Chinese, it made headlines, and they own all the content you create on there, even if you are paying for it, to my knowledge, right? So when you think about it like that, he talked about their presence being even more necessary after the news about this broke, right? That is key.
To be the best harness to build, test, evaluate, and deploy agents to eat the elephant of the enterprise. Everyday users are building their own agents to realize the potential of enterprise autonomy across both public and private sector. AI agents are operating as part of human AI teams, leveraging the mix of workflow applications for mammals and code-first approaches for AI agents, with ontology as that common intermediary representation of the state of the enterprise. Agents are having a transformative impact for our customers now, from targeting our enemies to targeting supply chain opportunities. You can hear more about these stories, not in our earnings call, but as Ryan mentioned, in our customers' earnings calls. AIG, Citi, BP, L3 Harris, Hertz all mentioned the transformative impact of AIP on their most recent calls. These agents represent AI users, the supply chain agent that works with your supply chain analysts, the intelligence AI agent that works with your human agents. AIP as a platform enables our customers to rapidly build and deploy AI agents that automate more and more of the enterprise in a continuous fashion. AIG announced the AI underwriting agent. AI agents are processing vast volumes of intelligence reports in the Department of Defense, finding things humans missed. AI agents are monitoring for sepsis at Tampa General. As Ryan mentioned, our US business is on fire, and I want to again call out the continued strength with Warp Speed in particular, our modern American manufacturing operating system. Both the adoption and the rate of product development has exceeded expectations. These investments are powering America's reindustrialization, not only with new defense entrants, but also with traditional defense industrial players and the broader manufacturing industry.
All right, pay attention. So one thing, whether you like them or not, again, this isn't a red channel. This isn't a blue channel. We are purple over here because we love green. All right, so if you think about it, when the president first announced tariffs, and one of the reasons why he was doing tariffs and putting tariffs on countries, he did say that part of his vision was to reindustrialize America, bring industry back here versus having it be outsourced to overseas, wherever that is. A lot of Asian companies like China. Look at something in your house. Let me see. Okay, this cup came from my ship, the USS Tripoli. Right, the ship I was on. It's got the trident right here in the front, right, and under the bottom, made in China. Now don't start unsubscribing. I didn't know prior to, but look in your cupboards and see where your stuff was made from. This one doesn't say where it came from, but you get the idea. What he's talking about is reindustrializing America, right? And they just talked about bringing industry back to America. What does that mean? That means they will have buildings, plants, warehouses in America. They will hire American employees. That will bring more salaries back to America. It will bring more income and revenue to the state. It will bring that technology to America instead of bringing it to the other country that it's in. Because think about it. This is a tech company, right? And I believe, if I'm not, I don't think I'm wrong about this, but they specialize in cybersecurity and whatnot, and that's one of the reasons why they have a lot of defense contracts, right? Because cyber attacks are I don't know, at an all-time high probably right about now, right? With the use of AI and everything, the crack codes and all of that. So this company has a lot of defense contracts, but if he just said they're bringing industry back to America, you should be excited about that, because he talked about utilizing AI to replace human beings, but then he just said this too. So think about that, right? What does that mean, folks? If they're replacing simple tasks with AI, then what are the jobs they're bringing to the human beings? It's probably AI related, right? What do they specialize in? Cybersecurity and AI. Well, go get certified in utilizing AI. That's a hard skill it's in high demand right now, because most people, only 70% of the earth is covered by internet right now, right? Not 100%. And the internet boom, the dot-com boom, was like in the 80s or 90s, right? So think about that. What is new in the world right now? AI, and they're talking about quantum computing. Get with it, folks. If you are a dude that says he is about his business and he's in a business that could be replaced tomorrow, then you're not really about your business. You got to always have vision for the future. Think about a job in quantum computing or AI. They're bringing that industry to America.
Turning to government, we delivered our first Titan vehicles to the U.S. Army in Q1. On time, on budget, the Army rated Titan as a top-performing program. And everything about it is heretical. A military vehicle with a software company as the prime contractor. And it's built by a team of non-traditional defense innovators like Anduril. Maven Smart System adoption continues to grow, with usage doubling in the first 9 months of 2024 and doubling again in the 5 subsequent months. The rate of adoption has really accelerated as Maven scales across more combatant commands and through the services and into more and more use cases. You commonly hear combatant commanders reference Maven in their posture hearings to Congress now. And Maven has reached Europe, with NATO adopting the capabilities of Maven Smart System as its C2 operating system. Leadership at EUCOM said this platform, Maven, has become...
All right, real quick. C2 is command and control, right? So that's a military thing. Well, we may talk about it more. I'll tell you what, I'll Google it so you can look at it while you listen to him, so I don't have to interrupt. That's what I've been doing, so I don't have to cut him off.
More than a common operating picture.
Let me
Leadership at EUCOM the capabilities of Maven Smart System as its C2 operating system.
There we go.
Leadership at EUCOM said this platform, Maven, has become more than a common operating picture. It's a decision advantage environment that is rapidly transforming the command. AI agents aren't just transforming the US commercial sector, they are transforming how we fight. AI agents are analyzing intelligence, finding targets, automating staff functions, and improving the understanding of the battle space. But we are just at the beginning. Our defense users are amongst the most creative and self-sufficient developers. Green Suiters developed the Hurricane Helene Rescue Common Operating Picture in 5 days. Next time, they will have AI agents do it for them in 5 minutes. With that, I'll turn it over to Dave to take us through the numbers.
Thanks, Sean. We had an exceptional first quarter.
So this guy right here then is the CFO. So in order, it was probably the CEO, then the CTO, the technology guy that we just heard talking, and then this guy talking about the numbers, guaranteed is the chief financial officer.
Revenue growth accelerated to 39% year over year, exceeding the high end of our prior guidance by nearly 350 basis points and representing an 1,800 basis point increase compared to the growth rate in Q1 of last year. We achieved another billion-dollar milestone this quarter by surpassing $1 billion annual run rate in our U.S. commercial business for the first time, which grew 71% year over year and 19% sequentially. On the back of this continued strength, we're raising our full year 2025 revenue guidance midpoint to $3.896 billion, representing a 36% year-over-year growth rate, and our U.S. commercial revenue guidance to an excess of $1.178 billion, representing a growth rate of at least 68%. The continued increase in demand for AIP drove the outperformance in our U.S. business overall in the first quarter, which grew 55% year over year and 13% sequentially, including our U.S. government business, which grew 45% year over year and 9% sequentially. We delivered these outstanding top-line results at an adjusted operating margin of 44%, representing an 800 basis point increase compared to the first quarter of last year. Our revenue and profitability drove a 2-point sequential increase to our Rule of 40 score from 81 in the fourth quarter of 2024 to 83 in the first quarter of 2025. We also had a strong cash flow quarter with adjusted free cash flow of $370 million, representing a margin of 42%. Turning to our global top-line results. First quarter revenue grew 39% year over year and 7% sequentially to $884 million. First quarter U.S. revenue grew 55% year over year and 13% sequentially to $628 million. Excluding the impact of revenue from strategic commercial contracts, first quarter revenue grew 44% year over year and 7% sequentially, and first quarter U.S. revenue grew 56% year over year and 14% sequentially. Customer count grew 39% year over year and 8% sequentially to 769 customers. Revenue from our largest customers continues to expand. First quarter trailing 12-month revenue from our top 20 customers increased 26% year over year to $70 million per customer. Now moving to our commercial segment. First quarter commercial revenue grew 33% year over year and 7% sequentially to $397 million. Excluding the impact from strategic commercial contracts, first quarter commercial revenue grew 42% year over year and 8% sequentially. We closed $930 million in commercial TCV bookings, representing 84% growth year over year. As I highlighted earlier, we achieved a $1 billion annual run rate in our U.S. commercial business for the first time, as AIP continues to drive both new customer conversions and existing customer expansions in the U.S. First quarter U.S. commercial revenue grew 71% year over year and 19% sequentially to $255 million. Excluding revenue from strategic commercial contracts, first quarter U.S. commercial revenue grew 75% year over year and 22% sequentially. We had the strongest quarter of U.S. commercial TCV booked at $810 million, representing growth of 183% year over year. On a trailing 12-month basis, we closed over $2 billion of U.S. commercial TCV bookings, highlighting the demand for AI production use cases. Total remaining deal value in our U.S. commercial business grew 127% year over year and 30% sequentially. Our U.S. commercial customer count grew to 432 customers, reflecting growth of 65% year over year and 13% sequentially.
Okay, real quick. Most of these numbers aren't going to mean anything to y'all because we're all not CFOs or the finance manager at big banks, and so these terms don't mean much to us. But did you hear about his clientele increase? American customers of like over 400 and something. They're not talking about you and I. They're not talking about private citizens. They're talking about companies. So if they have increased their clientele like that, you can expect this stock to boom. But it doesn't have to be all at once, right? They have to close the deals, then they have to start doing the work, and then it takes a while after you plant a seed, water it, and let it get some photosynthesis going before you see it start pushing up through the earth. So don't expect huge returns soon, but what they're telling you is that it's not just going to shoot up without any depth of root. They are putting so many roots down that when it starts to come up, a sequoia is going to come up out of the ground.
First quarter international commercial revenue declined 5% year over year and 11% sequentially to 141 million. The decline was driven by continued headwinds in Europe and by the one-time revenue catch-up in the fourth quarter of 2024 that we noted on last quarter's call. For our international commercial business, we continue to capitalize on targeted growth opportunities in Asia, the Middle East, and beyond, but remain focused on accelerating the growth in our U.S. business. Revenue from strategic commercial contracts was 5.1 million for the quarter. We anticipate second quarter 2025 revenue from these contracts to be between 4 to 6 million compared to 9 million in the second quarter of 2024. We anticipate 2025 revenue from...
All right, my dude, that's you boring us. All right, so he's running down all these numbers. I'm going to leave this video right here at 17 and a half minutes. What I may do is just do a reaction, a shorter video, I don't know, probably less than 30-minute video and put it up on the channel. If you guys want to see that, stay tuned. That's what I'm going to start doing every time we have earnings calls. I'm going to go through some of the companies that I like the most or some of the ones we should be looking for. And I'm going to record reactions to their videos because I don't want to take all of our Saturdays for earnings calls when we are here to learn financial literacy as well. But this is part of it, right? This is a huge, huge part of financial literacy, because if you are going to invest in the stock market and you are going to be a shareholder of a company / part owner of that company, then you better be listening to the earnings calls and know the trajectory of the company, or you are doing nothing but going to Vegas, shake them up, shake them up, shake them up, shake them like Ice Cube, bet it all on red. You're just betting on companies because you heard they were a solid company. And how would that have worked out for you if you'd have put 10 grand into BP right now and they dropped 22%? You'd be out 2 grand, right? $2,200, you'd be down to 7,800. And this is why you need to know the trajectory of a company. How would that have worked if you jumped into a sector that's being outdated? If you'd have threw it into Intel or something because you heard Intel was great. Well, we don't necessarily have to look at them all of the examples I'm saying, but just think about that, right? You need to know the trajectory of the company and how that company is being held up. Don't just they can't just come and throw empty numbers at you without telling you the new contracts they've signed, the new clientele, the new industry they're branching off into, mergers and acquisitions. Like we heard Robinhood say about June or July, they're going to do an acquisition, right? So, and it's the oldest crypto platform out there, right? So stuff like that, you have to be involved with if you are going to be investing in these companies, or else you just throwing dice in the dark. All right. Sound Hound AI, let's get it.
Participants
Wake
are
it
in
up.
listen-only mode. After the speaker's presentation, there will be a question and answer session. To ask a question during the session, you will need to press star 11 on your telephone. You will then hear another message advising your hand is raised. To withdraw your question, please press star 11 again. Please be advised that today's conference is being recorded. I will now hand the conference over to your speaker today, Scott Smith, Head of Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining our first quarter 2025 conference call. With me today is our CEO, Keyvan Mohajer, and our CFO, Nitesh Sharan. We'll begin with some short remarks before moving to Q&A. We'd also like to remind everyone that we'll be making forward-looking statements on this call. Actual results could differ materially from those suggested by our forward-looking statements. Please refer to our filings with the SEC for a detailed discussion of the risks and uncertainties that could affect our business and for discussion statements that qualify as forward-looking statements. In addition, we may discuss certain non-GAAP measures. Please refer to today's press release for more detailed financial results and further details on the definitions, limitations, and uses of those measures and reconciliations from GAAP to non-GAAP. Also note that the forward-looking statements on this call are based on information available to us as of today's date. We undertake no obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required by law. Finally, this call is being audio webcast in its entirety on our investor relations website. An audio replay will be available following today's call. With that, I would like to turn the call over to our CEO, Keyvan Mohajer. Please go ahead, Keyvan.
Here we go, CEO. Let's
Thank
get
you,
it.
Scott, and thank you to everyone for joining the call today. Hound had another strong quarter in Q1 with over $29 million in revenue, representing an increase of over 151% year over year. Our bold moves with product investments and growth initiatives in 2024 are paying dividends. We've been investing in Polaris, our multimodal, multilingual translation model, and it has proven to be a real differentiator against our closest peers. We are seeing that our average latency per query is as much as 4 times better. In noisy environments, we excel and are consistently finding that our sentence accuracy is around twice as good in those environments. Our word error rate is up to 35% better, and we have almost 30 languages in a mature state, which is not only ahead of others, but significantly decreases any barriers to expand internationally, in particular with our customer service solutions. Our growth initiatives in 2024 are taking shape. We acquired Think3 with the objective of introducing innovative and advanced technology to the restaurant partners and customers and driving business expansion beyond that. With Analyst, we similarly saw lots of synergies and huge opportunity. And within less than 3.
All right, let me pause this right here. So if you were watching my screen, right, I looked at their price to earnings ratio, right? And then I looked up what P to E ratio is, right? Up here. And I have to actually call this out real quick. So the price to earnings ratio is a valuation metric that compares a company's stock to its price earnings per share. It's a way to see if a stock is overvalued, if it has a higher one, or undervalued if it's a lower one. A high PE might suggest the stock is overvalued, while the low PE, I could have just read it because I just stole its thunder, but whatever. All right. So the price versus earnings ratio or price to earnings ratio tells you how much investors are willing to pay for each dollar of a company's earnings, right? So going down here, here's the example. And this matters with SoundHound AI because they hadn't been around that long and they started making a little noise last year. But other than that, it's actually gone under the radar. But you're going to see why it's up here in the earnings call in just a second. But this one is key. Look at this stuff while this guy is talking, right? If you can multitask. If not, just listen to him. If a stock is trading at $50 per share and has a earnings per share of $5, the PE ratio would be 10 because it's 50 to 5. This means investors are paying $10 for every $1 of earning the company generates. That's the example, right? And a good P to E is 20 to 25. Now, I've known this because when I first started getting in, well, not when I first started, probably a year or two in, I started looking up all the information beneath a stock. Like, what is all this stuff? What is market cap? What is all this stuff? If you don't know what it is, you need to look it up. And the great thing, one of my mentees, he's not on this call right now, but he called me yesterday and asked me for just 10 seconds of my time. And I told him he'd probably need more, but whatever. He went to Barnes & Noble. And you know what he did? He got an Investor for Dummies book. And it's going to break all this stuff down for him because he is becoming serious about investing. And if you are, you need to know what all this stuff means. Now, back to the PE ratio. So a good one is 20 to 25. That's the range, right? But if you look at SoundHound, they are negative 16. What does that mean? That means that people are saying that this stock is way, way undervalued, which means it could be geared. It could be set for an explosion like it did December 17th or 27th of 24. It's $23.95. What did my portfolio look like then? Whew. Yes, Lord. Anyway, let me let him continue talking.
Quarters, we are seeing outside growth across the portfolio that has now integrated with SoundHound voice AI technology, generating excitement from our enterprise customers and delivering on the promise of the upsell and cross-sell opportunities we identified as part of the acquisition. And then look at Allsets, where the team has been tasked with bringing AI voice commerce to the market, and they're already making great strides in building technology that is attracting interest from huge global brands. To give more precise examples of our success harvesting the synergies we achieved, our first acquisition in 2024, Think3, has already upgraded the majority of its locations to our Polaris model. We have been able to grow their locations by over 30% and upsell SoundHound products to the growing customer base. Our second acquisition, Allset, is bringing the growing merchant locations and brands to the automotive customers that we have accumulated over the past decade to create the largest voice commerce ecosystem of its kind, allowing drivers to transact and order food while driving. And our latest Amelia acquisition is upgrading to Polaris, just launched a new agentic AI platform, is entering new industries, and is already upselling its solutions to our merchant customers. We cannot be more thrilled. Our strategy is working. Many environmental factors and
Hey, I'm sorry. On a different subject, I got to give a shout out to my best friend John. He actually just graduated with his master's degree in cybersecurity from Middle Georgia State University, and so I got to give a big shout out to him. If you saw me smiling, he sent a photo. I'm not gonna show it, but it's of him and his dad, and his dad's being silly in the photo, but he's in his cap and gown. Listen, not only did he get a hard skill in cybersecurity, getting a bachelor's back in 19, now he's got a master's 6 years later, and now he also has 5 or 6 certifications in cybersecurity, so he should be geared to go, and he should be looking at companies like SoundHound AI. But anyway, sorry to interrupt. I just had to give a shout out to him. That's been my best friend for most of my life, actually. We met at 18 at our first job. It was a grocery store in New York called Pathmark, and I'm about to be 39 next month. Do the math.
developments in the technology landscape are also playing to our favor right now. A recent report from Stanford University highlighted a number of these trends. AI performance continues to improve exponentially, creating opportunities for solution builders like us. Systems are also becoming more affordable and accessible, whether that's hardware cost or improvements in energy efficiency. The cost of adoption is being driven further down. At the same time, enterprise investment is rapidly on the rise, with no business wishing to be left behind the pace of change. And to meet this enthusiasm, we are seeing more use cases move from the lab to real life right across industries. Closer to home, we've also made a number of observations from our own specific standpoint. Selective buyers and users are driving disruptive trends, many of which are creating more strong tailwinds for SoundHound. I would like to touch on 4 of these key trends. First, in automotive, we are seeing a notable shift away from OEMs partnering with big tech platforms for their in-vehicle voice offerings. Over recent months, we've been in discussions with a number of automakers who have proactively approached us, looking for a partner like SoundHound to help them differentiate and innovate and replace their big tech solutions. Second, in restaurants and hospitality, we are seeing a similar kind of movement. Operators are looking to migrate from cumbersome legacy answering systems to AI ordering solutions in order to future-proof their businesses. Third, clear momentum is growing around the idea of voice commerce. Notably, consumers are showing a strong appetite for this new, convenient modality, and the technology is ready to deliver. A new ecosystem of technology providers is rising to meet that demand, and of course, SoundHound is already out in front with our groundbreaking voice commerce ecosystem.
Woo!
And lastly,
Hey, hold up. Y'all heard that? That is a confident CEO. I like that. Now listen, as confident as Vladimir Tenev was, the man never said we are out in front. He says, of course, SoundHound AI is out in front. Wake it up. Let's go. This guy is confident. He talked about, hold on. Well, let him get the 4th one out. This is amazing.
the quality of voice AI technology is a true differentiator for customer service AI agents. While the hype around agentic AI persists, marrying sophisticated AI agents with next-generation voice technology is having the net effect of upending the traditional IVR space. Now, customers can speak and actually be heard. We consider ourselves the best positioned vendor to benefit from these trends. And given this context, it's unsurprising that our pipeline is the largest it's ever been, and our TAM continues to expand, giving us confidence that we have a massive opportunity to significantly grow our business for years to come. Of course, one of the most significant waves of fresh AI-driven disruption comes from agentic AI. Just this morning, we sent out a press release with the exciting details of the latest version of our Amelia AI platform, Amelia 7.0. The platform is powered by a proprietary multi-process agentic framework, branded Agentic Plus, which allows businesses to deploy fleets of AI agents capable of understanding, reasoning, and completing actions. These AI agents can orchestrate amongst each other and perform tasks entirely autonomously, without the need for human intervention. As a complete AI agent platform, Amelia gives businesses access to a whole range of agents that can retrieve and provide information, complete tasks and procedures, and allow consumers and external parties to complete commercial transactions with the business.
Look, folks, do me a favor, okay? If you are getting anything out of these Saturday Discord lives, please go to the YouTube platform and hit a like for the algorithm as well. But the biggest thing you can do is bring a friend. Bring a friend. If this Discord live has 88 people in it and they're all here ready to learn, great. I don't think it can hold 1 million, and I'm not that interested. And there are other people to learn from who started before me. But listen, if this could benefit anybody you know, please bring them, because who's ever listened to an earnings call before now, right? Who has? Most people have never even heard of an earnings call. They don't even know that it's a thing. But I'm giving this information to you guys for free. And I'm not doing it begrudgingly. I'm just saying bring a friend, because there are so many good dudes out there that want to do something more and want to build financial wealth for their family, but they don't know where to start. Let them start right here, because when I'm talking about a subject, I always break it down to the definition first, and I walk them right up to it. So if you're getting anything out of this, just please share this. But real quick, before we start the video back, Hound AI is doing the same thing that I talked about Palantir and Robinhood doing. Within their own economy, right, they are making themselves more like an ETF, right? Or as the tree analogy, they are putting down more roots in different directions so that when they spring up, it'll be harder to knock them over. If anybody remembers living through COVID, single faceted companies got washed out. It was like a tsunami and they got washed out. If you were a restaurant, a mom and pop restaurant, listen, probably shut your doors for good. And it sucks. It's not funny, but at the same time, when they shut stuff down and people had to stay 6 feet apart and you couldn't have as many customers in your business at one point in time, that washed out a lot of business. But if you did that and then you also, I don't know, had a recording studio with artists, and then you sold tires in the auto mechanic shop and all kind, you get what I'm saying? Like if you were multifaceted, maybe that industry wasn't hurting so much, or that one. So this route, that route was safe, but this route over here got plucked, right? So 75% of of your roots are still down. You're staying in the ground. If 25% of you got plucked up, you're still in the ground, and you're not just rooted, you are still growing. 75%? Give me 75% growth. All right, well, that wouldn't actually be the right thing to say. It'd be like take 100% of your lung capacity and give you 75%. You could still live. You're not going to be running marathons. You may have to sit down every once in a while, but you're going to be a little crippled. You give somebody, take away 25% of their brain capacity or their heart. And I'm saying it hurts, but you're not finished, is what I'm getting at, right? And they are doing the same thing. He said the automotive industry, which we know has been suffering when it comes to tariffs, because the only company that produces 100% of their vehicles in America is Tesla, right? with, I think, Ford being a close second. Is it Ford or GMC? I think it's Ford, right? Now, that doesn't mean the parts were all manufactured in America, but the car itself is put together and sold in America, right? So it's manufactured in America. So tariffs hit the automotive industry hard. The economy is hitting the automotive industry hard, and they're looking for different things to get it up and running again. And he talked about AI being able to help those processes and help out the automotive industry. So if they can do that, SoundHound is that route is going deep, because look at all the automakers are out there. So if it helps one, do you not think another one might not try and get a contract with them? Next, the restaurant industry. And what do we know about the restaurant industry? Not much. So I'm going to skip that. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, he didn't talk about, I don't think, exactly how they're helping the restaurant industry. Yeah, I'm going to have to breeze by that one. I don't know how they're doing it, but just know that's another industry totally unrelated. And then he said voice commerce. So I looked this up and I see it right here. Type of e-commerce where customers make purchases using voice commands with digital assistants like Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant. And I was like, aha. Y'all like the hat? Let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Okay, listen. So voice commerce, that is actually smart, because you're talking about making the voice assistants smarter on a phone. That is awesome. Or a supercomputer that's capable of making calls. That's what these flat screen that we keep in our pockets are nowadays. And then the customer service AI, and we've all dealt with those. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I hate them. I absolutely hate the customer service AIs, because 7 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, I'm only calling because it's something that I can't do on my own. And what do? They only do prompts that they remind you, well, you can log into to check your account balance. I'm not calling to check an account balance. Who does that? I guess people do it. But anyway, let's keep this gravy train moving. SoundHound, they're slapping over here.
AI agents use a combination of deterministic and large language models, giving the best of both worlds with control and flexibility. The platform also allows for optional human escalation and intervention for peace of mind. It is also fully interoperable with a whole range of available integrations. Notably, we also believe this is the only agent platform to equip enterprise-ready autonomous agents with world-class voice AI, enabling these smart AI agents to reason and perform complex tasks with human-like interactions thanks to our incredible advanced speech recognition. This means that our AI agents are not only fast, intelligent, and labor-saving, they engage in a way that employees and consumers will actively prefer. Imagine calling your doctor, reordering your prescription of a hard-to-pronounce medication, paying for a recent visit, and making a new appointment. This is all done via an agent that effortlessly understands what you're saying thanks to our advanced voice AI, and orchestrating with a network of further sub-agents to instantly schedule, reorder, and complete a billing transaction.
All right, so right there, I'm going to tell you they're going to be winning. Did you hear what he just said? The example he gave, it wasn't nebulous. So a lot of times, some of these companies, they come out and they talk about stuff and they kind of talk around it. He went straight to the heart of it and said, this is how our voice AI can actually help. Imagine a customer calling and reordering a hard to pronounce medication. Try to pronounce what Tylenol really is. Try to pronounce, matter of fact, don't call my bluff. Here we go. How do you spell it? Tylenol, right? What is Tylenol's real name? Okay, I think this is it. Is this it? Acetaminophen? Yeah, listen. Hooked on phonics works for me, and sounding it out, hold on. Tylenol's real name. Here we go. Okay, so N-acetyl para-aminophenol. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So this is what he's getting at, right? Hard to pronounce medications, right? And scheduling a follow-up appointment. Listen, Hound is going to be winning because this is the future. I'm sorry, but companies do not want to pay these crazy expenses anymore, so they don't want to keep paying for employees. And actually, if they utilize AI more, it's actually probably going to make them not look outside of America as much for employees. They can cut costs by utilizing AI and cut their labor force down quite a bit. But let's let them keep going.
While others continue to talk about the promise of agentic AI, we are walking the walk and already delivering it in the real world. This is underscored by the trust our customers put in us and our solutions. Let me now share some of the great customer wins, renewals, and expansions in Q1. In restaurants, in Q1, we scaled and reached thousands of locations with a large pizza chain that we signed just last year, providing our answering and ordering solutions to ensure no inbound customer calls goes unanswered.
All right, so we talked about restaurants, and I skipped over it because I don't think, maybe I missed it when I was writing it. I don't think he actually talked about how it was going to help the restaurants. Now he just said they reached thousands of locations and they got a huge pizza franchise and they make sure no call goes unanswered. Do you know how many people call a store, call a bank, call different locations and the call is not picked up because they don't have an answering service? So it either keeps ringing and ringing and ringing, or you get a voicemail or whatever. They're going to answer every single call with AI and probably funnel you into a wait list or whatever. And that is actually, that's major. That is major. Now, again, this, just like I think it was Palantir, he's not saying the name of the pizza chain because it's probably, the deal's probably not public yet. But when it is, look for, now you know to look for news of a new company that they're working with. That means they signed a contract already and they're already working. So when it becomes public, what do you think that's going to do to its valuation of the stock? Boom. All right. Let's keep it going.
Further
He's
locations
cooking,
were
but we
also
forging.
added with existing brands, including Happy Burger, Casey's, Firehouse Subs, Five Guys, White Castle, and McAllister, among others.
Ooh!
We also continue to expand across Burger King UK locations, together with Acrelec, a global technology company that is reinventing the customer experience with some of the biggest brands in the world. In automotive, we joined forces with Tencent Intelligent Mobile.
All right, so y'all heard him right there, right? He just told you. I heard Five Guys. I heard Burger King UK. Man, he just called out some of the largest fast food places out there. So what does this tell you? Hound is dug in to the restaurant, industry. Listen, if I'm going to draw the ground right here, right? And I'm going to draw just a little line above the ground. All right. So if we say automotive, if we say restaurant, if we say voice commerce, if we say customer service, right? You see this? All right, this isn't very good, but these are the little piece at the top, that's the little plant. The little line in the middle going horizontally, that is the ground. And those four things beneath it, those are the roots. Now watch what I'm going to do to one of them, right? He said restaurant. So watch what I'm going to do to one of them. Yep, I'm gonna keep y'all in suspense. This is called a cliffhanger. No, it ain't. It's called suspense because I'm not ending it right here. That's the restaurant route. You see that? You got it? That's what the restaurant route looks like. Let me get the light the lighting well. That's what the restaurant route looks like. There's a lot of little branches off of that route with what he just said. That tells you, now when you're trying to pull something up out of the ground, right? If the roots are all like that, you can forget about it. You're not pulling, at least not with your hands. You better have that iron grip.
If we expand across Burger King UK locations, together with Acrelec, a global technology company that is reinventing the customer experience with some of the biggest brands in the world. In automotive, we joined forces with Tencent Intelligent Mobility, part of the Cloud and Smart Industries Group at the multinational conglomerate Tencent, to bring world-class conversational AI to the intelligent cockpits of global auto brands. Also, multiple OEMs now are running pilots and POCs with our voice commerce solution. I will talk about this in more detail later on. In healthcare, 3 highly regarded companies in the healthcare space chose to renew and expand with us again this quarter. This included a prominent medical billing company, a healthcare provider that brings test results to the patients at home, and a healthcare provider in the Midwest that owns and operates a dozen hospitals. These customer validations prove that our technology is adding value to our customers, and it also shows that our business is sustainable and recurring. Additionally, we are...
All right. So he just added another route. See that? Now there's 5. He said healthcare. Look at all the sectors they're dug into. So listen, this is what I'm trying to say, right? Within their what am I trying to say? Not economy. Within their ecosystem of SoundHound, they are digging in like an ETF. Again, they're in healthcare. So now when you invest in healthcare, SoundHound, technically you're sort of investing in healthcare because they are. You're investing in the auto industry, the restaurant industry, voice commerce. So they're going to be doing business with, if you didn't catch it, phone manufacturers. That's probably Samsung and Apple, right? Because they said Alexa and Bixby and whatever else is out there, right? Google Assistant, right? Look, everything's connected. If you didn't put 2 and 2 together, that's still tech, but it's a different avenue in tech, right? So auto, restaurant, voice, e-commerce, so phones, still tech, customer service. I don't know if he mentioned the type of business there, but then he made sure you knew they were also in the healthcare industry. Let's keep going.
Pleased to note that 3 of the new deals we won in Q4 have already gone live with our solution. In retail, we signed to launch exciting strategic pilots with multiple top US fitness chains, unlocking potential for over 15,000 locations. We are also hoping to expand market reach through new pilot agreements and ongoing discussions with leading home services franchises, positioning SoundHound Smart Answering as a transformative solution for multi-unit operations. In energy, we have now launched a new AI agent with the large utilities company we signed in Q4 last year.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. They are in energy as well. Look, folks, if you aren't getting anything out of this call, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm not going to make fun of you, but don't be financially brain dead, right? He just added another route. The energy company. Did you hear that? Let me play that little piece again. That's far enough. Listen to that. They are dug in. So what does that mean? While you see their stock, right? This is a year ago. While you see their stock kind of teetering around the $9, $8 range, it's just up and down and $8 and $9 in here for the last couple months, right? What he's saying is, don't worry. That P to E ratio, we are way undervalued. He's telling you why it's negative and why it's so negative. He's telling you that this company is way undervalued. So if you're not if you're not accruing these right now, when this thing, it's like Chinese bamboo, right? Chinese bamboo for the first 4 years, it grows like 1 inch per year, right? But on that 5th year, it grows like 70 feet, grows like 79 feet, right? That's what he's telling you. That P to E ratio, this company is set to explode. And it already kind of did, and it came back down and calmed down. I couldn't tell you why, because I didn't listen to their Q4 call. But what he's doing is cementing the Q4 call by saying, hey, look, we already started working with energy companies in Q4. We already started working with healthcare companies in Q4. He's telling you not what they're poised to do or that they just started. No, we started already back here. We're poised to blow. I'm telling you, if you're not excited about SoundHound AI, I don't know what to tell you. You should be.
Transformative solution for multi-unit operations. In energy, we have now launched a new AI agent with the large utilities company we signed in Q4 last year, helping them to transform the customer experience. Furthermore, we've been forging new strategic partnerships to expand our reach into this space. Just last week, we announced that we are joining forces with PowerConnect AI, a purpose-built AI platform for the energy and utility industry, to launch a new era of intelligent omni-channel voice experiences designed specifically for this vertical.
Was that PowerConnect AI?
In information technology, we renewed with a large multinational conglomerate based out of Tokyo, offering a number of services in various industries, and another large Tokyo-based company that offers IT services, system integration, cloud computing, and information security. In telecom, we had an exciting renewal this quarter with a large...
Hold on. He said in telecom, we had a large renewal this quarter. Did you hear what he said? Based out of Tokyo. What does that tell you? Global expansion, international expansion, right? I'm in California, but it's not. I think SoundHound is based out of California, aren't they? Where is it? They're based out of, Santa Clara, California. So what does that tell you? International or global expansion, right? He's letting you know, oh no, we're just not in America, players. We are also overseas. We are in Asia. And if you didn't know, like back in the 90s and early 2000s, Tokyo used to be like a hard hitting, technologically advanced place. And it still is, but I don't hear about Tokyo like that being as technologically advanced these days, but they used to be. And I just think I'm probably not looking at it anymore, but it used to be all over the TV. Tokyo was a technological like heaven, right? That place was booming, right? So if he's in Tokyo, that's also good news for SoundHound. The more you know.
Large British multinational telecommunications
Hold on, let me
company
bring it back
helping
a
to
little
top
bit.
Quarter with a large British multinational telecommunications company, helping to power its employee IT support desk with our best-in-class AI agent.
Did you hear that? British, global expansion. Now it's not just international. Now we're talking global. It's still Europe, right? Eurasia, but now we're talking about global expansion.
In travel and hospitality, we signed a new deal with a leading resort developer in Latin America, offering concierge for inbound and outreach services, creating repeatable business across some of the largest hotel brands in the world. We also expanded with one of the largest hotel chains in the world, offering full-service hotels and resorts. In financial services,
I wonder if that largest hotel chain, look up some of the largest hotel chains, or you could actually probably Google, which I'm probably going to do when he stops talking. Well, I was until he just said in financial services. I showed you because he added another route. Look, and he just did another one. If y'all don't see this growing, y'all aren't paying attention, right? He is telling you, look, player, we have roots in the ground. We are not single faceted. We multifaceted. What's the gritty eye thing? But listen, this guy is telling you, no, that P to E ratio, we are way undervalued. We are going to come over the top in the next year. Listen, with everything he's talking about, there's no way they can't. There's no way they can't. And here's what's going to happen, right? SoundHound AI is going to become a house. They're going to start hitting the news more because they hit the news back in December because they were surging up and then it went away. Totally went away. Haven't heard a word on the news yet, right? But here's the thing, right? I know we're over an hour. I'll probably take another couple minutes into this call and then I'll just do another video on it. But what he's basically telling you is, look, we are well rooted. We are set to blow. He is putting out so much information. What's going to end up happening is SoundHound AI is going to blow wide open, or some company is going to look to do a merger or acquisition with them. I wouldn't be surprised if, because NVIDIA had a lot of shares of SoundHound AI, so they were investing in them. But AI, SoundHound is I don't know. And here's my prediction. I think in the tech world, right, SoundHound AI is growing closely to other companies, and I think it's looking to push away and be a competitor, not be acquired by someone, because they're starting to do too many contracts and make too much noise. Once they start making a lot of noise, they're probably not going to be acquired by anybody because they can stand on their own. If they were only single faceted, like Instagram first was, Meta or Facebook at the time acquired them. They were single faceted, right? Now that made Facebook multifaceted. Then they acquired Snapchat. Then they acquired WhatsApp. So anybody who was in their swim lane but was a smaller fish, they went ahead and ate and acquired them unto themselves. I think SoundHound AI is not trying to be acquired anymore because they are so well rooted in all these other industries that it's going to be near impossible. Why be merged or acquired by merged with or acquired by another company when you can stand on your own 2 feet and actually compete at a really high level, right? Let me let them talk about this financial services, and then we're going to go ahead and end this and let this forge go cold.
We have continued to have strong traction with some of the largest financial services companies in the world, including a win with one of the world's largest insurance companies in Europe, and significant renewals and expansions for our employee experience solutions across 4 financial institutions in Q1. As a reminder, we currently work with 7 of the 10 largest global financial institutions. Together with channel partners, we had wins including with a well-known global agriculture OEM, a global tax preparation company, and a North American travel and hospitality company focused on all-inclusive vacation and resort management. Additionally, we expanded services with a large systems integrator and renewed with a Japan-based multinational IT and services corporation that resell our solution to their clients and managed services offerings.
Okay, stop. Y'all ever seen a boxing match? Y'all ever seen a boxing match where the ref just come over the top and grab one of the guys and start doing this? TKO, man. They are all over their opponents. They're boom, 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 and they ain't hitting back. They have thrown out TKO. Technical knockout. SoundHound AI's call has been astounding. And look, we're only 14 minutes into it. 14 minutes into it. They haven't gotten to the questions yet. These guys are throwing out so much information. And it was just like Hood's call. But Hood's call was a little different, right? Because with Hood, they talked about some stuff that they were doing, but I think SoundHound AI has them beat with the mergers and the contracts they're doing. They talked about a lot more of what they're doing in the trajectory of the company and where they're already rooted at, okay? Look, TKO, SoundHound AI, I'm going to start this one. I'm going to definitely have to do a video on this one. And I might do the whole call, but just broken up into different videos. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Chat, y'all don't have anything. But listen, this has been a great Discord Live video. I'm going to have this edited and uploaded. And listen, please, if you know anybody Anybody who this could help, please send it to them, share it to them. Tell them what you think. I'm not here to be entertaining, so if you're entertained, good for you. I'm not here to. I'm not a performer. I'm just doing this out of the kindness of my heart. I'm getting comfortable behind the camera too because this is something that I really am passionate about. This is something I really want to do. I do this on a daily basis in the Navy anyway. I talk to a lot of young guys about investing and where to put their money, and just people have no financial literacy at all. But they have a lot of screen time on YouTube, IG, Snapchat, and all of that. So trying to get people refocused or recalibrated, it ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. Anyway, when it's uploaded, do me a favor, hit a like for the algorithm. And please, the biggest thing you could do is share it with a friend. If you call somebody a friend, you say you like them, you got a sister, brother, whatever, and you love them, share some love with them by sharing this information, right? Even if they don't really care that much, maybe one day they might. Anyway, folks, the forge is going cold. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to get a soundboard over here, and I'm going to make that clink sound on the anvil. You know what I'm saying? But I hope you all have a great weekend. This is the Blacksmith signing off.